Hello, everybody, and welcome to Betweenplays Stock Market Strategies. Today, we have with us someone new. Very exciting to hear the story. We met at the CSC event, and you put on a great little 2 minute spiel. I thought it was very interesting, and now we have you here on the show. So, Ross, how are you doing today?
Great, great. Good to be here.
So, BacTech Environmental Technologies. Ross, since it's the first time we have you on this show, naturally that people like to get to know you a little bit more. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that do know you that's inside of our following, but because it's our first interview, we'd like to get to know you a little bit more as a CEO and the person that's running the show, leading the ship. Can you give us a little bit about yourself?
I'm unemployable, so that's why I have to run the company because it's been a long haul with BacTech. I've been involved with the company, brought it here from Australia back in the mid '90s. My background is in the securities industry, Pitfield, Mackay, Ross, and then RBC DS. And then I guess probably in the early '90s, just went into the merchant banking capital raising business for usually mostly resource related companies. One of the companies that I did get involved with was BacTech. And so I was the director of the company up until about 2011. And I took over because my predecessor just about blew us out of the water. And I separated the company in two. And I said, look, I'm going to go with the environmental side because I think the future of this technology is really in the mining space. And like everything I do in life, I'm always 10 years ahead of the curve, not intentionally, mind you.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm a visionary. I'm just saying that it just seems to work out that way. And it's only in the last 5 or 6 years that bioleaching has really started to be a topic that's discussed readily, and people are starting to understand that it's really not new technology. It's been around for 30 years.
Oh, really? Okay. So, leading on to that, for like the investors and viewers that are discovering BacTech for the very first time, can you describe like the company's mission and overall business model?
Yeah, it's very simple. One line. Our bugs eat rocks. That's all we put on our stand at any conference because people walk by and they stop and they look and they go, "What does that mean?" I don't have an elevator pitch, so I need to be able to capture somebody where I can sit down with you for 15 minutes and walk through what the technology is capable of and what it's done
Okay.
in the past. So in essence, really what we're doing here is bacteria, naturally occurring bacteria in tanks. So under our sort of guidance, we pull all the levers to make sure they're happy. And what they do is attack sulfide minerals and break down and oxidize the sulfides. In a very simple, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Think of a brick wall. The
Yeah.
sulfides are the mortar. And effectively, they're eating that mortar and eventually releasing everything for what they call conventional recovery, whether it's through producing a doré or precipitating out base metals at the back end.
Okay. That's very interesting. So it's the bacteria that allows you to basically obtain the minerals that you're looking for. Okay, just
Well, not
explain that.
looking for. We know they're there, but they're
Okay,
refractory in nature, meaning they're locked up, and something has to break apart that matrix. In the
okay,
old days, they burned it, and of course, what you do is you vaporize sulfur as sulfur dioxide emissions.
yes,
Think of Inco up in Sudbury, and the surrounding terrain was nothing but rock because the acid rain had effectively killed all of the trees. So we replace smelting and roasting with what's called a hydrometallurgical process. Everything's done in sort of an aqueous solution. All of our water is recycled. There's nothing dumped into a river. It's a closed circuit basically.
okay. So
And
basically, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and especially
Yes.
one of the benefits of bioleaching is our ability to stabilize arsenic. Now, as you know, arsenic is associated with a lot of gold, silver projects, copper projects as well,
Okay.
and it's a problem. And most drill bits, from an exploration company, as soon as it hits arsenopyrite, that's the end of that hole. We're moving on somewhere else. So
Okay.
I like to jokingly say when I speak that we're the only nuts out there that run towards arsenic when everybody else is running away from it. But if you think of a situation like say Peru or Chile,
Okay.
where you've got mountains and mountains of tailings, gold, silver, copper tailings that have arsenic in them, which means nobody's going to say, "Oh, I'll fix that." Well, we will because we can stabilize the arsenic as a byproduct.
Okay. Well, you know what? Before we get to your Ecuador project, because we're touching up on this. So, what does this mean, like globally, for the mining industry? Like when you're talking about environmental liabilities, tailings ponds, and exactly that, the arsenic contamination. What is the benefit of having BacTech Environmental come in to those areas?
Okay, well, there's the present and there's the future. All right. What we're doing in Ecuador is the present, meaning that we have built plants before. We built four plants, two in China, two in Australia. The factor, the ultimate dollar factor really was that we were giving all the value to the miner because he was producing high arsenic gold concentrates and having a heck of a time selling them because nobody wants them. So
Okay.
by putting in a BioLeach circuit, they can go into production. They get all the value. We used to get $1 million for a license and a small royalty.
Okay.
Now, the future though,
Yes.
which is what we call zero tailings, which is a patent that we filed April of 2025, and then just in April of this year, we just went filings, excuse me,
Yes.
in the United States and Canada. I think Africa is next, and then it's going to be Australia, South America, etc. So what we're dealing with here, and this is a long way of getting around to your question. Zero tailings means exactly that, zero tailings.
That's incredible.
Whether you're going in and you're reprocessing existing tailings and you're taking out the metals that are still there, the copper, nickel, cobalt, gold, silver, whatever it is, but most people that when you do that, you're still left with two long-term liabilities, iron and sulfur.
Hmm.
We all know that sulfur oxidizes and produces sulfuric acid, and iron, of course, is will dissolve in that acid and end up in rivers.
Yes.
We have taken those two products, or those two elements, and turned them into a revenue source. We produce magnetite, which is effectively the form of iron ore that goes into steel making,
Okay.
and we're producing an ammonia sulfate fertilizer. And just think about all the press that recently about fertilizer prices because of what's going on in the Middle East. So
Yep.
imagine taking 50 million tons of crap, pardon the
Yep.
expression,
Yep.
and getting rid of it. Or better yet, how
That's
about putting
crazy.
one of these plants on the back end of an existing mill so nothing goes out to the tailings?
That's nuts.
It's nuts. And I sit here with a market cap of about $15 million
Yeah,
Canadian,
that's
and
right.
I don't get it. Maybe we're just not very good at getting our message across. I mean,
Well, maybe Betweenplays will be helping in that
there you
category.
go.
That's a great lead up for that. But honestly, no. Well, maybe you are 10 years ahead of the time. Maybe the message is so brand new because I mean, even myself, I've been covering mining companies, tech companies, and all kinds of companies since we're a stock market marketing media company. What ends up happening is that even for myself, like hearing about bacteria eliminating tailings is at the CSE event, that was the first time I ever heard of that. So that's very interesting, and I think that a lot of other people out there are going to be hearing about this. So I wouldn't be surprised at seeing that eventually your market cap actually increases. That's for sure.
Oh, I had a conversation with yesterday a friend slash investor who said to me, I don't know what the flashpoint is going to be, but somebody is going to figure out what you're doing, and that'll be a game changer for you. You know,
Absolutely,
whether
absolutely.
it's we maybe a deal where we license the technology to a major for a certain country or an
Yep.
area, I don't really know. I do know that Paul Miller, who's the inventor and obviously and head of our technology area,
Yes,
spoke at PDAC to a room full of people from senior mining companies, and the interest level was crazy. Now,
I
I'm
believe
sure
so.
these guys hear something new every day. Everybody's claiming to do this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
They just shouldn't get in the way of Paul Miller. He's a sharpest guy I ever met. I'll tell you, he's
Well,
quite
that's
something.
that's super interesting to hear, actually. And when we're looking at the Ecuador project, all right, what's the timeline on that? Permits and all this kind of stuff. What do you need for that to in order to do what you're doing? I mean, if you're going for the tailings, I'm just want to
Nope,
understand that a little
nope,
bit more.
nope,
Oh,
nope. Ecuador is not tailings.
good. Okay, let's go.
Okay, Ecuador is concentrates.
Oh, concentrates. Okay,
All right.
all right.
So just for your
Yeah,
listeners,
absolutely, 100%.
20,
That's
20,
what we're here for.
20%, well, 20% of a ton of rock is the value, 80% is waste. So when you crush and grind that ton of rock
Yes.
and use flotation, you separate that 20% that has all the value. That's what goes into the bioleach tanks. There's no sense putting all that 80% of nothing in there because it's just taking up space and sort of restricting your capacity. So the plant in Ecuador is designed to originally, or initially, I should say, to process 50 tons a day of high arsenic gold concentrates.
Okay.
They will run close to 2 ounces per ton of gold and probably 3 ounces of silver.
Okay.
And so the miner right now is selling these concentrates to China because they're the only buyers for the surprise, surprise. But
Uh-huh.
what China did recently, or
Yep.
recently, 3 or 4 years ago, was they put an import tax on high arsenic gold concentrates coming into the country.
Okay.
Doesn't solve the problem, just puts more money in the government's pocket. And of course, that 15 or 13% tax was just passed on to the miners. So they're getting 65 cents on the dollar for the gold values in their concentrates before they start deducting penalties for arsenic. So it brings you down into the probably into the 50s.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
We, BacTech, have completed, first of all, 6 months of BioLeach test work on the five largest mines in the area.
Okay.
Got 96.2% gold recovery and 100% arsenic stabilization. Okay, that's great. Can you make money at it? So we hired an independent group, EPCM,
Okay.
which is an engineering firm, and they did a bankable feasibility study on the project at $1,600 gold and $18 silver, because that's where we were at the time. Actually, we were $2,000 and $25, but we said, okay, let's ratchet it back. We know that our break even's about $850 an ounce, so we're a long way from getting
Oh
in
yeah.
trouble
Oh
on
yeah.
the
Big time.
project.
Oh yeah. Big time.
We then, okay, so now we know we can get it, the gold. We know that we can, produce it and we can make money because those numbers generated a profit of $11 million. These are all US dollars
Profit of $11 million.
on a
Okay. Wow.
capex of $17 million. And that's paying 75% of the gold value. So a nice bump of roughly, 20 to 25% for the miner than what he's getting today.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that was done. And
Yep.
so then we set out to get the permits, and we've got them all. Well, technically, there's a land transfer that we're going through right now. We bought 100 acres of land. It's ideal for the plant. It's covered in cocoa trees. Like it's literally 100 acres of cocoa pods that are being grown for the sugar industry.
Wow.
So we have to reclassify that land as industrial versus agricultural.
I see.
And what an interesting story there was that the day that we went on to look at that property,
Yes.
we were surrounded by about 10 guys on motorcycles. And I thought, oh, this is the big one.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
This
good.
is this does not look good.
No, it doesn't sound good either.
And our country manager got out of the car and chatted with them, and he came back. He said, "Oh no, these guys are really they're here to pick the cocoa. They work for the guy that owns the place, so they're acting more as a security." I said, "Well, yeah, but you couldn't notice you could not notice the look in their face of oh, we're losing our jobs,
Oh yeah.
which most mining companies do. They say, get out, we're taking over. So what we did, which is kind of unique and helped us on the S part of ESG, we said stay.
Yeah.
First phase, we're only using 20% of the land. I don't need 80 acres of dead trees in my
Yeah.
backyard. So you guys take over, you run the farm, you sell the product, you keep the proceeds. We're not in the
That's great.
farming business.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
that obviously led to we have 100% support from the local community, which is
Like,
very rare.
well, yeah, well, you could see that. I mean, you do something like that, and that's a good move on your part for the
It's a good
honest.
move. And we also explained to them that whatever they're making now, it's probably under $5,000 a year. They can expect to earn 10 times that amount working for us because there is a law in Ecuador where 15% of your profits go to the employee bonus pool. Now, that sounds heavy, but we have a 12-year tax holiday from the government. We signed an international protection agreement. And part of the IPA, of course, is arbitration outside of the country, which is good,
Yeah.
and a 12-year tax holiday, which is terrific.
No,
So, anyways, the 15% bonus pool
yes.
is going to literally, when you divide it by the number of employees and what our profit's supposed to be, even at say $4,000 gold, these people are making $50,000 to $60,000 a year.
Wow. Of course, naturally for them, this is going to be massive and huge. So they'll be doing what they're doing now, and then they're looking for the future as well. So
Yeah.
this is so the ESG part. I mean, we see it there, and on top of the fact that you have this the whole bacteria stuff, it looks more like a future company. This is where we would be going towards. Uh,
So you asked me what has to happen?
yes,
Money. It's money. We've been
money.
looking for. See, our balance sheet is not strong. We're a small junior company in the tech space.
Okay.
Um, Ecuador, and I'll be perfectly frank, Ecuador's had some issues
Yes.
uh, with narcos and whatnot. The
Yeah.
narcos figured out it was easier to get cocaine out of Ecuador than it was Peru or Colombia. Um,
Yeah. Well,
they
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 figure
have
things out, right? They look for other routes. When one route's closed in, they look for something else.
well, exactly, and hopefully we can Noboa can close this route and they go elsewhere.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
for that
Money.
reason, and I guess equity is an issue. We have sort of a commitment for 5 million US in equity.
Okay.
See, what we've done is, I think one of your questions, I think, is going to be about dilution because it always
Correct.
is.
Yes.
You don't raise 20 million US or 22 million US now, which is what the estimated capex is in equity, because it will look like an Australian junior with 2 billion shares outstanding. So
Yeah.
what we did was we went downstream and we said, okay, we've got a 100% owned subsidiary that owns the project. Let's sell a portion of that project, 25%, whatever it takes
Okay.
to secure the funding.
I see.
And that's people can get their teeth into that because they don't have to worry about
Dilution.
BacTech. But as we always say, though, but look, any financing we do there, we're going to give you warrants in BacTech because you're going to want to be part of the upside when the zero tailings technology kicks in.
Absolutely.
Because I think at the end of the day that if somebody ever stepped up to buy this company, it would be for that, not for what we're doing in Ecuador or planning to do in Peru, etc.
Well, I could just imagine one of the majors picking up this kind of technology. What it would do for the environment would be incredible.
Absolutely.
It'd
Well,
be
think about the
absolutely.
amount of money they have in place in bonds,
Yeah.
right? They've got closure bonds that have been sitting there for years,
Yeah.
ultimately to solve the problem when the dam breaks and everything goes rushing out into the river. They've got the money to clean it up.
Yeah.
So if you can take those tailings away and dispose of them well, not even dispose of them, sell them,
Yeah.
all the elements somewhere else,
Yeah. Because now you're
effectively you
wow.
can you can you can cancel that bond. And
So
the other thing
base.
that it was interesting because Vale is the material that we've been working on up in Sudbury.
Okay.
And effectively, they wanted to get the nickel, copper, cobalt, and we just said we can get it, but you're not gonna make any money. You're gonna lose money doing it. So that's when Paul Miller bumped his head and figured out this ammonia angle that it just changed everything overnight. So
Wow.
so think about if you're actually potentially building a mill
Yeah.
or a mine for that matter, you can say, well, hey, I've just got two other revenue sources that I never counted on. They were always liabilities.
Correct.
It's
That's
going to
right.
allow you to mine lower grade material because you're going to be getting contributions from other areas.
Well, the big boys should be looking at this for sure. This would work really well. Actually, the government should be involved in something like this.
Well, they're aware of us, obviously, because we work very closely with Nadia Mikacek at Merarco in Sudbury.
Yeah.
Nadia is a master in dealing with governments. That's what she excels at, really.
I'm surprised the First Nations aren't involved in this as well and backing you up because, or are they? Because the thing is that, not in my backyard, right? I mean, good luck getting permits in Canada if the First Nations are against you. But this is something that I would be surprised that they wouldn't jump on this train and say, hey, guys, well, we need this because tailings, everybody knows about tailings that's in the mining industry and what it can cause to the environment. This is quite
Yeah.
incredible technology.
So here's the issue. One, you've got a commercial technology, which is very important in mining because mining hates new technology.
Oh,
Well, the numbers are huge. I think back to Noranda had some sort of a chloride treatment 10, 15 years ago. It was $1 billion. Didn't work. Um, I'm sure those gentlemen are no longer employed in the Glencore space now.
I'm sure too. Yeah, and in today's
Um,
world, nobody wants to hear about people not caring about the environment.
right. But one thing about in Canada, we're very good at scavenging things. So a lot of the tailings, the gold tailings, have been worked over a number of times, leaving gold behind, but it's relatively low grade. If we had this technology for zero tailings commercial today,
Yeah,
absolutely everybody would be knocking on our door. But like everything, it's like people say, yeah, let somebody else do it first, and if it works, then I'll do it too, you know? I
yeah.
mean, if I had a nickel for every time somebody said, get Harry to do it. If Harry likes it, then come back and see us, you know?
that that sounds like most stuff in life. People
Well,
are not
almost
interested
as
in doing anything until they see it works, and then all of a sudden everybody's jumping on. Oh
yeah,
wow! Like, can I
and
be
it's
part of that?
and it's their idea then too.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's their idea. I know you have another interview or you have a meeting later, and so what I'll do is I'll skip over two of the questions I had for you because I'd love to have you back on the show because this is very interesting technology. Let's get to the last question, unless you have other things to add. The long-term vision of BacTech Environmental.
Well, again, from the present side, we are contractually obligated to expand that 50 ton a day plant to 250 tons a day,
Okay.
which is effectively the size of the export market in Ecuador.
Wow.
Um,
Huge.
the first phase will do 35,000 ounces of gold and probably 60,000 ounces of silver.
Okay.
The second phase will take us to roughly 125,000 ounces of gold and over a quarter of a million ounces of silver. I
Wow.
mean, you're talking, you're up into the upper hundreds of millions in revenue now. The the net, again, before tax is probably around $100 million.
Okay.
That's this small plant in Ecuador. We've been approached by a group in the metal trading business about Peru. Again, because there are many, many deposits, especially in northern Peru, that are arsenic laden, but they're full of gold. Like, we're talking 2 gram gold and 5, 6 grams silver
Okay.
plus arsenic.
All right.
We're just in the process of opening a Peruvian subsidiary because that allows us to get access to Activos Mineros, which is the government's division where all the orphan tailings sit. The stuff where people have gone bankrupt or run away, and the government becomes the owner by default.
Okay.
And so our intention, of course, is to sit down with them and say, guys, we're here to clean up this mess. We're not going to pay you for the tailings. We might pay you a royalty or something like that,
Yeah.
but we're here. So the acquisition cost is very, very inexpensive on something like this. And what we would do is we would refloat them and take out the sulfides and then bioleach it. Again, that's the present technology. All right.
Now, I have one thing to ask on that. Something I find that's very interesting in what you're saying. So what you're saying, which I find is it's weird a little bit because why wouldn't the government want to eliminate their problem? Like it's an environmental problem on top of it all. I mean, we have a place that's up in Oka or something like that. I don't remember. They're looking. There's like a uranium in it and all this kind of stuff. It's a huge problem. It's an old abandoned mine and everything like that. And no one can go in there, and it would cost God knows what how much. Why do you guys have to buy, like or do this revenue thing when it's their problem? It's a huge environmental problem. You guys would be cleaning it up. Shouldn't they be paying you?
Well, the issue is always at the end of the day liability, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Yes.
most governments will say, okay, great. You're going to take it on. We're transferring the liability to you. And that's a showstopper because no one is going to do that.
Correct. That's
Now,
exactly what's happening at the one in Oka.
that's correct. So what happens is you apply not pressure, but support to the local communities who have to live with this mess and get them on board to do the barking at the government.
Yes.
Um, and in this case, it's arsenic. So nobody in their right mind is going to go in there because they're going to have an arsenic issue.
Oh
With
yeah,
bioleaching, of course, we eliminate that issue. So that's why I say the market is massive because
massive.
there's so much of this stuff lying around that
Yeah, it's
nobody
all over
wants
the
to
world.
touch with a
All over the
barge
world.
pole. They don't have, yeah, I mean, but we can work north south very nicely. And
Yeah.
eventually,
Oh
you
yeah,
get around to
you'll have
place,
enough. You'll have enough just north south.
yeah, without having jet lag and whatnot.
Exactly.
Although we are getting interest from Central Asia of all places, believe it or not. Again, old Russian tailings that are probably, fairly lucrative because of their inability to float and crush and grind stuff with
Yeah.
Western technology.
Wow.
We're talking 50, 60 years ago.
Holy mackerel. Wow. Yeah, no, you guys definitely have something that's extremely interesting when you look at the timeline of mines and the history and all the tailings that could be, Lord knows how much, just north and south alone, forget about all around the world, going back hundreds of years. I think you guys have a super interesting story, and I'm surprised that you guys are at the 15 million market cap. I think this eventually will explode. Get the First Nations on in here and apply pressure to governments, and I think because I definitely know that people would be on your side. That's for sure. That is for
Oh,
sure.
100%.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's a quagmire. I mean,
yeah, good
we're
word.
we're looking at stuff in Quebec, and you have one side going, yeah, 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 but then you hit the mining industry, no, no, no. Like,
Well,
yeah,
I think that door will open eventually. I think
yeah, I
that
think
doors
so.
will
Might
open.
have to might have to kick it open, but
Oh, well, you know what? Then kick it open.
yeah.
Ross, it's been great having you on the show. If there's anything you want to leave in the closing remarks, go for it right now.
Well, I think the reality is that what I think that the thing that's going to light the wick for us will be getting financed for Ecuador,
Okay.
because the numbers today at today's prices generate over 30 million in profit US. And when you start breaking that down into cents per share, it's mid-teens. So
Yeah.
you got a stock that's trading at 6.5 cents that has the potential in the first year of operation of making 15 cents a share. It's crazy. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's crazy. That's great
but
upside.
but again, I'm sure investors say, yeah, yeah, I've heard it all before. Well, and a lot of people, I'm sure, are getting very impatient with us too, because it's taken us a long time to get the funding done for the reasons that I explained earlier. The balance sheet, the geopolitical situation, but and the lack of assets really that we have to pledge. So
Well,
yeah,
like you
you know
said,
what?
you have to
It's good
just keep
enough
on
to
knocking on doors and kicking down doors because this is definitely a
absolutely.
technology that you guys have that I think is extremely important to the environment and to the industry and to the mining industry. It's not something that's renewable energy and all this kind of stuff. We're talking about tailings. We're talking about destroying places where people lived, going into the rivers, destroying the ecosystems, massive, massive impacts on
Yeah,
our planet. And you
but
have
taking
solutions.
that crap that goes into the river and
Yeah,
actually selling it and making
correct.
money,
It's
right?
insane. So
It
you
is
know what?
insane.
I'd love to have you back on. Uh, Please, at any time, when you have any news that comes out and stuff like that, Ross, just give me a call. I'll give you a call, and let's get another show on. Thank you
Great.
so much. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was going to say thank you. Finally, some intelligent questions. It's nice.
I completely appreciate that. That was very, very nice of you. Thank you, Ross. And
Okay.
any relationship to Mr. Orr there, Mr. Ross
Oh,
Orr?
there it is.
Yeah,
I
listen, I had to do the hockey,
you owe
man.
me you owe me a
We spoke about
dollar.
it
That's
before
my
the
re
show. Let's close off that way.
No, you owe me a dollar. That's my retirement fund. Oddly enough, though, it's not as much now because he's kind of getting older and fading
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Young
Well,
people
I
don't
mean,
know who
look,
he is anymore.
yeah, but
I could
yeah,
change my name to McDavid, maybe.
yeah, yeah. You could do that. I mean, he's an amazing player. I mean, anyways, Ross, thank you so much. See you on the
Okay.
next show, Between Plays. So, guys, this is BacTech Environmental Technologies. Mr. Ross Orr, thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Between Plays, it's the journey and what you do between where you are and where you want to be. Research, prepare, plan, and execute your strategy. Do your DD and stay strong in visualizing and achieving your goals. Our strategy is unique since 2020. An original concept imitated, never duplicated. Real conversations with media influencers, educational and expert speakers, analysts and consultants. Betweenplays, bridging the gap between companies and investors.